In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere, making it difficult to maintain focus and discipline. We are constantly bombarded by external noise and internal chatter, which can derail our progress and cloud our judgment. But what if the key to greater clarity, focus, and self-discipline lies in something simple yet powerful: silence? In the power of silence in daily discipline, we will explore how embracing silence can significantly enhance your ability to concentrate, build strong habits, and take meaningful action toward your goals. Silence is not about retreating from the world, but about creating a mental space where you can reflect, reset, and sharpen your focus. By the end of this book, you will understand how to incorporate silence into your daily routine to improve your decision-making, enhance your productivity, and achieve sustained success. If you're ready to transform your approach to discipline and growth, this journey begins now. Chapter 1. Embrace silence to sharpen your focus and discipline daily. Silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of self. When everything around you is loud, fast, and chaotic, silence becomes more than a quiet moment. It becomes your power source. In a world filled with noise and constant stimulation, those who master silence will find the edge that others keep chasing. The ability to sit in silence, think with clarity, and act with purpose is not just a rare skill, it's a necessary one. Silence sharpens focus. Silence strengthens discipline. Silence builds a mind that doesn't break under pressure. And if you want to change your life, you start by turning down the volume around you and within you. Most people live distracted. They wake up to notifications, check their phones before they even open their eyes fully, and immediately get pulled into the world's agenda before they've even decided what their own goals are for the day. Their minds are scattered. Their attention is hijacked. And as the day goes on, they wonder why they feel stressed, tired, and off track. But it's not a mystery. It's not about doing more. It's about clearing space. That starts with silence. You don't need more hours. You need more clarity. You don't need more motivation. You need less distraction. And you don't need to figure out how to be more disciplined. You need to create the conditions where discipline naturally thrives. That begins with quiet. When you embrace silence, you stop being pulled in 100 directions. You learn to pull yourself into the present. You stop being a slave to outside noise. You begin to hear your own thoughts. And the more you listen, the more you understand what you truly want, what truly matters, and how you need to show up every single day. Focus isn't something you force, it's something you allow. It's what remains when you remove the things that pull you away from what matters. Silence creates that space, and in that space your best self has room to rise. When you choose silence, you train your mind to be still. That stillness isn't laziness, it's preparation. It's where mental clarity is forged. It's where emotional control is built. You begin to see things for what they are. You begin to separate your reactions from your values. You begin to recognize what's noise and what's signal. Most people never stop long enough to ask themselves the hard questions. What am I really doing with my life? What matters to me? Am I living with intention or just reacting all day? Silence forces those questions to the surface, and it gives you the space to answer them with honesty. Your environment shapes your behavior. If you surround yourself with noise, distractions, and people who constantly pull your attention away from your goals, it becomes nearly impossible to stay disciplined. But if you create silence, even just for a few minutes a day, you give your mind the conditions it needs to reset. You make it easier to return to what matters. You make it easier to follow through. And most importantly, you build a stronger relationship with yourself. You don't need to move to a mountain. You don't need to go on a retreat. You just need to make silence a part of your daily life. Start small. Turn off the music on your way to work. Leave your phone in another room while you eat. Sit quietly before the day begins. These aren't just productivity hacks. They're disciplines. They're small acts of control in a world that constantly tries to take it away from you. And over time, these moments of silence build something bigger, a clear, focused and intentional life. Think about the moments when you felt the most focused, the most disciplined, the most alive. Chances are, they weren't filled with noise. They were quiet. They were steady. They were moments when your mind and your actions lined up perfectly. That's not a coincidence. That's what happens when you remove the clutter. That's what happens when you give yourself permission to slow down, breathe and listen. Discipline grows in quiet soil. It's in the silence where you choose what matters and cut what doesn't. It's in the silence where you prepare yourself for the challenges of the day. And it's in the silence where you stop being reactive and start being intentional. When you embrace silence, you reclaim your attention, and when you control your attention, you control your life. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who do the most. They're the ones who stay most focused. They know what to ignore. They know when to say no. They protect their time and energy like it's gold because it is. And they do that by making silence a daily practice. They don't let the world fill every moment with noise. They create space to think, to feel, to plan, to stay centered. You can do the same. And when you do, your days become more powerful. Discipline doesn't begin with motivation. It begins with clarity. And clarity comes from silence. When you create silence in your life, even for just 10 minutes a day, you give yourself a chance to reconnect with your priorities. You remember what you're working for. You feel the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And in that gap you find fuel. But silence also humbles you. It reminds you that most of your problems aren't external. They're internal. The stress, the frustration, the restlessness, it's not just caused by the outside world. It's your reaction to it. And the only way to change your reactions is to create the space to observe them. Silence does that. When you remove the noise, your patterns show up more clearly. You start to notice your excuses. You hear your inner critic. And instead of running from it, you face it. That's where discipline is built. Not by ignoring your weaknesses, but by confronting them in silence and deciding to do better. There's a reason so many high performers and deep thinkers make solitude a part of their routine. It's not because they're avoiding the world, it's because they're preparing for it. Silence isn't retreat. It's strategy. It's where you prepare your mind for the day's challenges. It's where you reinforce your standards. It's where you recharge your focus and remind yourself who you're becoming. The beauty of silence is that it costs nothing, yet gives everything. You don't need apps, tools, or techniques. You just need to sit, breathe, observe, and trust that in those quiet moments you're doing the most important work of all, mastering your mind. The more time you spend in silence, the more you begin to crave it. Not because it's peaceful, but because it's powerful. You realize that your best ideas don't come when you're distracted. They come when you're still. Your best decisions aren't made in chaos. They're made in calm. And your strongest discipline doesn't come from willpower alone. It comes from self-awareness. Silence gives you that awareness. Make silence part of your daily discipline. Not because it's trendy, but because it's transformative. Wake up 10 minutes earlier to sit in silence before your day begins. Use a quiet walk to clear your thoughts. Create tech-free moments throughout the day. End your night in stillness to review and reset. These are not just habits, they are anchors. They ground you, they bring you back to what matters, and over time they change your life. You will face distractions every single day. You will face noise. You will face pressure. But if you've trained your mind in silence, you will not be shaken. You will not be reactive. You will respond with clarity, discipline, and purpose. That's the power of silence. It builds a mental fortress that the world cannot break. Every time you choose silence over distraction, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're proving that your focus matters, that your discipline matters, that your time matters. And the more you do this, the more your life starts to reflect those choices. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up for yourself without all the noise clouding your vision. It's about practicing a discipline that begins within and radiates outward. Silence isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's the starting point of every major change. And it's always available to you. The real battle of self-discipline isn't against the outside world. It's against your inner chaos. And the only way to win that battle is to train yourself in silence, not once, not occasionally, but daily. Because the person who learns to be calm, focused and intentional in silence is the person who can remain that way in chaos. And that is the person who wins. The world wants your attention. It profits off your distraction. But you have a choice. You can take it back. You can reclaim your focus. You can protect your discipline. And it starts with silence. Silence will teach you more about yourself than any book or video ever could. It will reveal your strengths. It will expose your weaknesses. It will show you what you've been avoiding. And it will give you the space to face it all with honesty. That's not easy, but it's worth it. Because once you start living with clarity and intention, everything changes. Your energy becomes more focused. Your time becomes more valuable. Your actions become more aligned. And your life begins to reflect the strength you've been building in silence all along. Choose silence every day. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's powerful. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Your future depends on your ability to focus. Your discipline determines how far you go. And silence is the tool that brings both into your control. Make it your practice. Make it your discipline. Make it your power. Silence equals focus. Focus equals results. And results equal transformation. Start now. Choose silence. And let it sharpen the life you're building. Chapter 2. Remove distractions to create space for intentional growth. Distractions are the silent killers of progress. They sneak into your life in ways that seem small, harmless, or even justified. But over time they steal your time, dilute your focus, and break the rhythm of your growth. If you're not ruthless about removing them, they will consume the energy you need to build a disciplined and purposeful life. The truth is, most people aren't stuck because they lack ambition. They're stuck because they haven't created the space to grow. And that space doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing less of what doesn't matter. Growth isn't just about adding new habits, routines, or ideas to your life. It's just as much about cutting the excess, removing the noise, eliminating the things that constantly interrupt your momentum. You can't build strength in chaos. You can't gain clarity in clutter. To grow with intention, you need room to breathe, think, and act deliberately. That room is created when you take your distractions seriously. Most people treat distractions like background noise. They think they can tune them out. But you can't focus deeply while your mind is checking in and out of conversations, apps, notifications, and random thoughts every 5 minutes. Your attention is a limited resource. Every time you switch tasks, check your phone, or entertain a non-essential input, you pay a mental price. That cost adds up. It drains your mental energy, it steals your time, and worse, it trains your brain to live in a scattered reactionary state. Intentional growth is not possible in a reactive mind. To grow, you need direction. You need clarity about what matters and consistency in your actions. Distractions destroy both. They blur your vision and break your momentum. That's why removing them is not just a productivity tactic, it's an act of self-respect. It's saying your time, your mind, your future is too important to waste on things that don't serve it. Start by looking at your day with honesty. Where is your time really going? Where is your energy being drained? Don't guess. Observe. Track your behavior for a few days. You'll probably find that the things you think take just a minute are actually stealing hours. Scrolling on your phone, clicking through tabs, responding to every message the second it arrives. These habits seem small, but they train your brain to avoid deep work. They feed your need for stimulation, and they build a life where you're constantly pulled in different directions. To create space for growth, you have to get ruthless. You have to decide that some things just don't belong in your life anymore. That includes digital noise, unproductive conversations, aimless scrolling, constant multitasking, and even relationships or environments that don't support who you're becoming. Cutting these things out isn't selfish, it's necessary. Because every distraction you remove gives you back something much more valuable: focus, time, peace of mind, and the ability to follow through on what matters. Removing distractions doesn't mean becoming isolated. It means becoming intentional. It means being selective about what you let into your mental space. Just like your physical health depends on what you eat, your mental focus depends on what you consume, visually, digitally, emotionally. And if you're not choosing those inputs carefully, they will be chosen for you. Take control of your digital environment first. That's where most distractions live today. Turn off non-essential notifications, organize your apps, unfollow accounts that don't inspire or educate you. Set boundaries around your phone use, especially in the morning and evening when your mind is most sensitive. Your phone is a tool, not a master. If you don't set limits, it will control you. And every second you spend in mindless digital loops is a second you could have used to build something real. Next, look at your physical environment. Is it built to support your discipline or sabotage it? A cluttered room creates a cluttered mind. A noisy space breaks your concentration. You don't need perfection, but you need structure. Set up a place where you can work, think, train, or reflect without interruption. Protect that space. Treat it like a sanctuary, because the quality of your environment will shape the quality of your growth. Then examine your social environment. Who you spend time with affects your habits more than you realize. If you're constantly around people who distract themselves, who waste time, who never talk about growth, you will become like them. Not because you want to, but because you adapt to your surroundings. Be mindful of the conversations you allow. Be aware of the energy people bring into your space. And don't be afraid to pull back from those who keep you stuck in old patterns. Creating space for intentional growth also means learning to say no without guilt. Every yes is a commitment, and if you say yes to everything, you'll be too drained to focus on what actually matters. You don't owe anyone your time. You don't need to explain your boundaries. Protecting your energy is your responsibility. Say no to things that feel forced. Say no to commitments that distract you from your purpose. Say no to the version of yourself that wants comfort over discipline. Growth happens when you stop diluting your focus and start directing it. One of the hardest distractions to eliminate is the one that comes from your own thoughts, your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. These internal distractions can be louder than anything external, but they can't be avoided. They must be faced. And the way to face them is not by trying to shut them down, but by creating enough silence to see them clearly. The more you slow down and observe your mind, the more power you have to guide it. Meditation, journaling, silent walks, these aren't just self-care rituals. They're tools to declutter your inner world so your thoughts can move with purpose instead of panic. The more you remove distractions, the more you start to feel what real presence is like. You stop feeling rushed. You stop feeling anxious. You stop feeling like you're falling behind. Because now you're not reacting, you're choosing. You're not scattered, you're intentional. You're not stretched thin, you're focused. And in that state, growth isn't something you chase. It's something you naturally move toward. Intentional growth is not about sprinting. It's about showing up every day with clarity, doing what matters most, and letting go of what doesn't. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right things with consistency. And the only way to do that is by making space. Every time you remove a distraction, you make a little more room for that space. And in that space, you'll find energy, creativity, motivation, and peace. You'll also find truth, because distractions often serve as a way to avoid uncomfortable truths. We scroll because we don't want to sit with our anxiety. We stay busy because we're afraid of stillness. We say yes to everything because we're scared of disappointing others. But if you want to grow, you have to get real. You have to strip away the noise and face what's underneath. That's how you grow with intention, not by piling more on top, but by peeling away everything that doesn't serve the person you want to become. You can't rise while carrying the weight of things that hold you back. And distractions, whether they come from screens, environments, or within, are just that. Weight. They slow your steps. They steal your momentum. And if you don't let them go, they will make every goal feel further than it actually is. The decision to remove distractions is a decision to rise faster, move clearer, and build deeper. There's power in doing less. There's power in simplifying your day so you can give your full energy to the things that matter. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer distractions. You don't need more hours. You need more intention. And you don't need to wait for the perfect time to grow. You just need to start clearing the space now. Once you experience a life with fewer distractions, you'll never want to go back. You'll feel more in control. You'll think clearer. You'll perform better. And most importantly, you'll live more aligned with your purpose. It's not about being perfect. You will still slip. You will still get pulled in sometimes. But the goal is progress, awareness, and constant return. Every day is a chance to recommit to the essentials. You don't rise by trying to do everything. You rise by doing the right things with all of you. So take a real look at your life. What's consuming your energy that shouldn't be? What are you tolerating that's draining your focus? What are you giving time to that brings no return? Be honest. Be clear. And then take action. Start small. Remove one thing today. Create one quiet hour. Say no to one unneeded request. Let go of one habit that's been holding you back. These are the daily wins that build your future. These are the moments that separate the average from the disciplined. And these are the decisions that make growth not just possible but inevitable. You are capable of so much more than you realize. But your capacity depends on your ability to protect your focus. And protecting your focus means protecting your space. If you want to grow, start clearing room. Your future needs that space. Your purpose needs that space. Your discipline needs that space. And it all begins the moment you stop letting distractions run your day. Your life is the result of where your attention lives. If you want to change your life, change what you give attention to. Remove the noise, cut the clutter, focus on what feeds you, and let the rest go. This is how you create space for growth that lasts. This is how you live on purpose. This is how you rise, clean, clear, and fully committed. Chapter 3. Practice deep listening to strengthen your inner clarity. Most people hear, but few truly listen. Deep listening is rare because it requires presence, stillness, and intention. It asks you to slow down, quiet your mind, and engage with life beyond surface noise. It's not about simply understanding others better. It's about building a stronger connection with yourself. When you learn to listen deeply, you unlock a new level of clarity within. You begin to notice the thoughts behind the thoughts, the emotions behind the reactions, and the signals that guide you toward better choices. It's through deep listening that you begin to align your actions with your values and your habits with your highest vision of yourself. Your life is constantly speaking to you, through your thoughts, your body, your experiences, your emotions, your struggles. But if you're too distracted, too reactive, or too consumed with noise, you won't hear what it's saying. You'll keep moving, but without direction. You'll keep working, but without meaning. You'll keep responding to life, but without understanding it. That's why deep listening is a discipline. It's a skill that sharpens your self-awareness, expands your wisdom, and builds the clarity you need to grow with purpose. To listen deeply, you need to be still, not just physically, but mentally. You need to turn down the volume of your ego, your assumptions, and your automatic reactions. You can't hear clearly when your mind is racing to defend itself or predict the future or replay the past. Deep listening begins when you let go of needing to control the moment. When you stop trying to fill every space with words or answers or action. Silence creates room for truth to surface. And if you're brave enough to face it, that truth will guide you. Start with yourself. Listen to how you speak to yourself every day. Notice the tone, the rhythm, the energy of your internal dialogue. Is it supportive or critical? Clear or chaotic? Encouraging or anxious? Most people are unaware of how loud and messy their inner voice is, but if you don't become aware of it, you'll live by it. You'll make decisions from a place of confusion. You'll form habits based on insecurity. You'll react to pressure with fear instead of intention. Deep listening gives you a pause. It gives you space to separate truth from noise. And in that space you begin to reclaim your clarity. Listening deeply also means observing without judgment. When you feel resistance, doubt, frustration, listen to what it's trying to teach you. Don't rush to fix it or escape it. Stay with it, feel it, explore where it's coming from. Every emotion is a message. Every reaction is a mirror. When you pay attention, you'll start to see patterns in your life that have been running on autopilot. Maybe you've been seeking approval in your choices. Maybe you've been avoiding discipline because it reminds you of failure. Maybe you've been stuck in habits that feel comfortable but keep you small. These realizations don't come from thinking harder. They come from listening deeper. The same applies to how you listen to others. Real listening isn't about waiting for your turn to speak. It's about being fully present with what someone is expressing, even if it's uncomfortable or unfamiliar. It's about listening not just to words but to energy, emotion, intention. When you listen deeply, you learn more than you could ever ask. You understand people's pain better. You see their fears, their hopes, their struggles. You learn what they really need, not what they say they need. This kind of listening builds connection. It builds trust. And it helps you grow by expanding your emotional intelligence. But perhaps the greatest power of deep listening is the way it reveals your next step. Most people are overwhelmed, not because they don't know what to do, but because they're too scattered to hear what they already know. When you slow down and listen to yourself honestly, you often find that the answers are already within you. You know what habit you need to break. You know what decision you've been avoiding. You know what truth you've been resisting. The problem isn't lack of knowledge. The problem is lack of clarity. And clarity is what deep listening provides. To practice deep listening, you have to create space for it. You can't expect to hear clearly if your life is filled with non-stop stimulation. Build quiet into your daily rhythm. Take time each day to sit in stillness. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you and your mind. Let the silence do its work. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You might notice restlessness or boredom, but if you stay with it, something powerful happens. Your thoughts start to settle. Your awareness expands. You begin to see your life more clearly. You begin to see yourself more honestly. Journaling is a powerful tool to deepen your listening. Writing slows your thoughts down enough to see them clearly. It helps you capture insights that would otherwise slip through the cracks. Ask yourself questions like, what am I feeling and why? What patterns keep showing up in my life? What am I avoiding that needs my attention? Write without editing. Let your truth speak. The goal isn't to write perfectly. It's to hear yourself fully. Another way to practice deep listening is to simplify your conversations. Instead of jumping to give advice or share your own story, try just holding space. Ask thoughtful questions. Reflect back what you hear. Be curious, not judgmental. You'll find that people open up more. You'll also find that by really listening to others, you become better at listening to yourself. Because the skills are the same: presence, patience, openness, attention. When you develop the habit of listening deeply, you stop rushing into things that don't align with your values. You stop reacting based on fear or pressure. You start choosing based on clarity. You become more grounded, more thoughtful, more resilient, and you stop needing external noise to validate your direction. You become your own compass. This kind of clarity is rare in today's world. Most people are overstimulated, overwhelmed, and underconnected. They consume information constantly, but understand themselves very little. They react fast but reflect rarely. That's why most growth feels inconsistent. It's built on unstable ground. Deep listening builds stable ground. It helps you know yourself not through theory or inspiration, but through experience and observation. It's important to understand that deep listening is a practice. It's not something you master once and keep forever. You will get distracted. You will slip back into old habits. But the moment you notice yourself drifting, you have a choice. You can return to awareness. You can pause, breathe, observe. And with every return, you strengthen your inner clarity a little more. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in life come from the quietest moments. A single realization in silence can shift the way you see everything. But those moments don't come through force. They come through presence, through patience, through being willing to listen longer than you usually do. They come when you stop trying to force clarity and instead allow it to rise from within. Clarity is not about knowing everything. It's about knowing what matters right now. And you discover what matters by listening to your life, not through noise but through stillness. When you live this way, you waste less energy on confusion and self-doubt. You become more efficient with your time, more intentional with your habits, more aligned with your purpose. Your clarity is your power. It helps you stay calm under pressure. It helps you say no without guilt. It helps you pursue goals that actually fulfill you, not just impress others. And the key to this clarity isn't found in more information. It's found in deeper listening. If you want to be more focused, listen. If you want to be more disciplined, listen. If you want to make better choices, listen. Your mind will always speak to you, but only when you're willing to quiet the distractions long enough to hear it. This is the discipline most people avoid because it feels too simple, too still, too slow. But that's exactly why it works. Growth doesn't always come from adding more. Sometimes it comes from subtracting the noise and listening to what's already within you. You don't need to search for your next step. You need to listen for it. You don't need to control every outcome. You need to pay attention to the present. And you don't need to rush to fix everything. You need to sit with what's real and let clarity guide the way. This practice will change how you work, how you connect, how you live. You'll feel more grounded in who you are. You'll be less shaken by other people's opinions. You'll stop second-guessing your instincts, and you'll start moving through life with quiet confidence. The kind that comes not from noise but from truth. This is what it means to practice deep listening. It's not a technique, it's a way of life, a way of engaging with your mind, your choices, and your relationships with presence and purpose. It's how you clear away the fog and find your way forward. It's how you turn intention into action, and it's how you build a life that's not just productive, but deeply aligned. Because when you can truly listen to yourself, you stop living on autopilot. You stop chasing the wrong things. You start living with clarity, discipline, and truth. And that's where real growth begins. Chapter 4. Build mental resilience by embracing solitude without fear. Most people are uncomfortable being alone with their thoughts. Not because they lack the ability to enjoy solitude, but because they've never learned how to sit with themselves without judgment or fear. In a world where connection is constant and distractions are endless, solitude has become something people avoid rather than embrace. But solitude is not isolation, and it's not loneliness. Solitude is intentional space. It is the choice to be with yourself fully, without needing noise, validation, or approval. It is where mental resilience is built, layer by layer, thought by thought, through the quiet practice of facing yourself without escape. Mental strength is not just about pushing through adversity or staying strong under pressure. It's about being able to stay with yourself when everything around you becomes quiet. When there are no conversations to distract you, no screens to entertain you, no noise to drown out your thoughts. It's in those moments of stillness that your inner world begins to surface. You start to see what's really driving your behavior. You start to feel the weight of the thoughts you usually ignore. You begin to uncover the truth you've been avoiding. And the more willing you are to face that truth, the stronger you become. Solitude gives you that opportunity. It allows you to separate who you are from who you pretend to be. It strips away the performance and leaves only the reality. That reality might be uncomfortable at first, It might confront you with your doubts, your insecurities, your unmet needs. But that confrontation is necessary. You can't grow if you're hiding from yourself. You can't become mentally strong if you're constantly avoiding silence. Growth begins the moment you stop running from your own mind. When you sit in solitude without distraction, you give yourself space to think clearly. You start to notice how often your thoughts are shaped by fear, by comparison, by insecurity. You see how easily your emotions are triggered by what you cannot control. And then you begin to work with those thoughts, instead of being controlled by them. You begin to build clarity around what actually matters, what deserves your energy, what aligns with your purpose. That is resilience, not just surviving discomfort, but understanding it. Not just fighting through challenge, but growing from it. You don't need to escape into busyness to feel important. You don't need to be surrounded by noise to feel alive. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs you will ever experience will come in the moments when you are completely alone. That's when you stop performing and start being. That's when you can finally hear your own voice without it being drowned out by everything else. But to reach that place, you must first get comfortable with the quiet. Solitude teaches you how to lead yourself. It teaches you how to face boredom, restlessness, and discomfort without needing to numb it. It teaches you how to make peace with the parts of yourself you usually hide. You realize that your mind is not your enemy. It's your most powerful tool, but only if you learn how to train it. And that training begins in silence. It begins in the moments when you stop searching for something outside of yourself and start building strength from within. Many people think mental resilience is only built during high-stress situations, but the truth is, it's built during the moments when no one is watching. It's built in the decision to sit with a difficult emotion rather than run from it. It's built in the choice to wake up early and reflect, even when there's no reward. It's built in the habit of self-honesty that no one will ever see. That's what solitude gives you. It gives you the space to practice discipline in the absence of pressure. It gives you the room to observe your thoughts before they become actions. It gives you a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. You don't need to fear solitude. You need to train yourself to welcome it. Start with small pockets of time each day, where you sit with no intention except to be present. Don't fill the space with music or scrolling or even planning. Just be. Let your thoughts come and go. Observe your emotional state. Notice your breathing. The first few times it might feel boring or uncomfortable. That's natural. You're not used to facing yourself without filters, but with time, you'll begin to feel a shift. You'll start to feel more in control of your reactions, more centered in your emotions, more grounded in your values. This practice of sitting alone is not about becoming detached from the world. It's about strengthening your core so that when you do step into the world, you do so with clarity and control. You're not pulled in every direction by opinion, distraction, or fear. You're not overwhelmed by challenges or thrown off by setbacks. Because you've already faced the hardest thing, your own mind, and you've learned how to navigate it. Solitude also reveals what truly energizes you and what drains you. Without external noise, you can clearly see which habits are helping you and which ones are holding you back. You can question the beliefs you've accepted without thinking. You can explore goals that feel meaningful instead of chasing what looks good. You become your own compass. You stop outsourcing your direction to others. That's what makes you resilient. Not just your ability to endure, but your ability to choose your path with clarity and conviction. There's a discipline in solitude that sharpens your thinking. It slows you down enough to separate reaction from intention. It helps you pause before making impulsive choices. It gives you time to review your decisions and measure your progress honestly. And in that honest review, you find opportunities to grow. You begin to ask better questions. What am I avoiding that I need to face? What am I doing that no longer serves me? Where do I need to show up with more discipline? These questions don't come when you're constantly distracted. They come when you're present with yourself. If you want to grow stronger, more stable, more focused, build the habit of solitude. Don't wait until life slows down. Create the space even in the middle of your responsibilities. Wake up earlier. Spend time away from screens. Take walks without your phone. Schedule time to reflect, to write, to sit in silence. These moments won't always feel productive, but over time they compound into mental clarity, emotional strength, and consistent discipline. You'll find that the more time you spend in solitude, the less reactive you become. You stop needing to prove yourself. You stop being easily influenced. You start making choices based on your own principles instead of chasing acceptance. And that's a powerful place to operate from, because it means your mind is no longer at the mercy of chaos. It's anchored, trained, disciplined. Solitude will not give you all the answers, but it will help you ask the right questions, and that alone will lead you to deeper growth than most people ever experience. It will teach you how to be okay with not knowing everything. It will help you detach from the need for constant stimulation. It will show you how to slow down enough to hear what really matters. And when you live that way, your resilience is no longer just about strength. It's about wisdom. Mental resilience doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you don't collapse under pressure. It means you know how to return to yourself when everything feels uncertain. It means you've built a relationship with your own mind strong enough to weather the storms. That relationship is built in solitude, in quiet reflection, in the consistent practice of facing yourself with honesty and patience. If you want to become mentally unshakable, embrace solitude not as a punishment but as a gift. It is not about cutting yourself off from others. It's about building a solid foundation within so you can show up for others with strength and clarity. The more time you spend with yourself, the more secure you become in your decisions, your vision, and your voice. And that security is what allows you to stand tall even when life gets heavy. There is nothing more powerful than someone who knows how to be alone and still feel complete. Not because they don't care about connection, but because they don't depend on noise to define them. That's who you are becoming when you practice solitude with intention. Someone who leads from the inside out. Someone who knows themselves so well that external chaos can't break their focus. Someone who doesn't run from discomfort but uses it to grow stronger. This strength isn't something you have to be born with. It's something you build. One quiet moment at a time, one honest reflection at a time, one disciplined choice at a time. And over time it becomes who you are. Calm, clear, resilient, and focused. Not because the world got easier, but because you trained your mind in solitude to stay solid when everything else wavers. That's what lasting growth looks like. That's how resilience becomes your foundation. That's how you create a life built not on noise but on strength.
Chapter 5. Prioritize quiet moments to recharge and reset your mindset. Most people live their lives in a constant state of tension. From the moment they wake up to the moment they fall asleep, they are plugged into a cycle of noise, urgency, and overstimulation. Their minds are always racing, trying to keep up with responsibilities, notifications, demands, and conversations.
There's rarely a break, rarely a pause, rarely a moment of intentional stillness. Over time, this noise erodes clarity, burns out motivation, and drains mental energy. That's why quiet moments aren't a luxury, they are a necessity. If you want to stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay connected to your purpose, you must make space in your day to recharge your mind and reset your internal direction. Quiet moments are not about doing nothing. They are about doing something vital, checking in with yourself. It's in silence that your thoughts settle. It's in calm that your perspective resets. It's in stillness that you notice the things you've been too busy to feel. And when you slow down long enough to listen to yourself, you begin to understand what's been weighing on you, what's been fueling you, and what needs to change. You stop reacting to life, and you start living with intention. When you build a habit of protecting quiet space in your day, you train your mind to breathe again. You allow yourself to step back from the rush and reconnect with what matters most. Your energy starts to return. Your focus sharpens. Your sense of direction becomes clearer. Because in those quiet pauses, you're not running from one thing to the next. You're choosing what to carry forward and what to leave behind. You don't need hours of silence to feel the benefits. Even a few consistent minutes of quiet reflection each day can make a difference. These moments can be early in the morning before the world wakes up. They can be during a walk with no headphones. They can be in the evening after you put your phone down and just sit with your thoughts. What matters is that you create a space where nothing external is pulling at your attention, where you are fully present with your mind, your breath, and your inner state. Without quiet, burnout becomes inevitable. Your mind cannot run at full speed all day, every day, without a break. It needs time to reset. Just like muscles need recovery after intense training, your mind needs silence after constant stimulation. Otherwise, your focus starts to weaken, your emotions become unstable, and your judgment gets clouded. You start making decisions out of exhaustion instead of clarity. You start chasing distractions instead of staying on track. The noise takes control of you, but when you protect quiet moments, you protect your ability to choose your response instead of being driven by reaction. Quiet moments also build self-awareness. When the noise stops, your real thoughts rise to the surface. You begin to notice how often you rush through the day on autopilot. You see how many of your reactions are based on fear or stress. And in that awareness, you gain the power to change. You can't improve what you don't notice. But when you create space to check in with yourself, you start to catch the subtle patterns that are holding you back. You see where you're wasting energy. You recognize where you're out of alignment. You become more intentional with your time, your focus, and your behavior. You also give your nervous system a chance to calm down. Most people walk around in a low-grade state of stress, constantly triggered by their environment. Quiet moments allow your body to shift out of that fight-or-flight mode and into a state of restoration. Your breathing slows. Your heart rate steadies. Your muscles relax. This shift is not just physical, it affects your thinking. When your body is calm, your thoughts become clearer. When your emotions are regulated, your mind is more open. This mental reset improves your ability to make wise decisions, stay disciplined, and maintain a long-term mindset. To prioritize quiet, you have to be willing to protect it. That means saying no to constant input. That means being okay with not always responding right away. That means not filling every spare moment with noise or stimulation. It's easy to scroll or distract yourself when there's a pause, but the growth happens when you resist that urge and stay with the silence. That's when you start to hear your real thoughts. That's when clarity starts to build. That's when your mind starts to restore its strength. You also begin to notice how much of your stress is not caused by events, but by the way your mind processes them. In quiet moments, you gain the distance to observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You can separate what's urgent from what's important. You can shift from panic to presence. You can choose a better response because you've taken the time to pause and reset. That's real power, not just reacting quickly, but responding wisely. Building this habit takes discipline. It means scheduling quiet time and honoring it the same way you would a meeting or a workout. It means creating boundaries around your attention and not letting every distraction in. It means being intentional about what you allow into your mental space. Over time, this discipline becomes second nature. You don't feel the same pull toward noise. You don't crave distraction the way you used to. You begin to value the clarity that comes from silence more than the stimulation that comes from noise. As your mindset begins to shift, you'll also start to notice the quality of your actions improves. When your mind is clear, your efforts become more precise. You stop doing things just to feel productive, and you start focusing on what actually moves you forward. You stop rushing through tasks and start executing with focus. That's the benefit of a reset mindset. It brings back your sharpness, your purpose, your direction. You become more effective, not because you're doing more, but because you're thinking better. Quiet moments also build emotional discipline. When you slow down long enough to feel what's going on inside you, you stop burying emotions under distractions. You face them. You learn how to process anger, fear, and stress without letting them control you. You build the maturity to sit with discomfort and still move forward. That's how you become emotionally strong, not by avoiding emotions, but by creating space to understand and manage them. If you want to keep growing in life, you have to learn how to manage your internal world. That doesn't happen in chaos. That happens in quiet. When you create space to recharge and reset, you start to align your behavior with your values. You stop being pulled by pressure, and you start being driven by purpose. You stop relying on external motivation, and you start building internal discipline. That kind of clarity doesn't just change your days, it changes your life. You may find that some of your most important decisions come out of moments of quiet. Not when you were planning, rushing, or reacting, but when you finally slowed down enough to hear what your gut was telling you. Those inner signals are always there, but you can't hear them when your mind is full of noise. You have to listen, and that takes time. That takes space. That takes a commitment to stepping away from distraction and tuning into yourself. Some people are afraid of what they'll find in the quiet. They avoid it because they think silence will make them feel lost or overwhelmed. But it's the opposite. Silence is what helps you find your center again. It shows you where you've drifted off course. It reconnects you to your reasons, your goals, your values. When you make space for silence, you make space for truth. And that truth can be uncomfortable, but it's also liberating. It frees you from pretending. It frees you from rushing through life just to keep up. It helps you step back and ask, what am I really doing this for? You don't have to change everything overnight. But you can start today by carving out a few minutes just for yourself. No distractions, no input. Just time to sit, breathe and reset. Do it consistently, and you'll notice the shift. You'll feel more grounded. You'll think more clearly. You'll move with more purpose, and the more you build this habit,
the more it becomes a way of life. This isn't about perfection. It's about practice. Some days will be harder than others. Some days your mind will resist the quiet. Some days you'll feel restless or unfocused. That's okay. Keep showing up. Keep creating space. The discipline of showing up matters more than the quality of any single session. Over time, the benefits will compound. You'll build mental strength, emotional clarity, and a mindset that can weather any storm. Prioritizing quiet doesn't mean disconnecting from life. It means connecting more deeply to what matters. It means returning to your day with a renewed sense of purpose. It means doing less, but doing it better. It means protecting your energy so you can invest it where it truly counts. And most importantly, it means choosing to live from the inside out, not based on noise, pressure, or fear, but based on clarity, strength, and calm. You have the ability to train your mind to stay focused, sharp, and clear. But that training starts in the quiet. It starts in the moments you choose to step away from distraction and reconnect with your own thoughts. That's where resilience is built. That's where wisdom is developed. That's where discipline is strengthened. And the more you return to those moments, the stronger your mindset becomes. Protect your quiet time. Guard it like your most valuable asset. Because it is. It's where your growth begins. It's where your energy is restored. It's where your path becomes clear. And in a world that's always demanding more, choosing silence is one of the most powerful things you can do for your mind, for your focus, and for your future.
Chapter 6. Use silence to reflect on your goals and track progress. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of your goals. You may start with clarity and passion, but over time, distractions, stress, and the sheer pace of life can blur your vision. That's why silence becomes such a powerful tool. It's in the stillness, the quiet moments, that you can truly reconnect with your goals, reflect on your progress, and recalibrate your direction. Without these moments, your goals can feel distant, your efforts unfocused, and your growth unmeasured. Silence doesn't just provide a break from the noise, it gives you the opportunity to pause, reflect, and ensure you're on track. Reflection is an essential part of growth. But in the hustle of modern life, how often do we take the time to pause and think deeply about where we are and where we're headed? Most people keep their heads down, pushing forward without ever stepping back to assess the journey. This constant forward motion can lead to burnout, frustration, and a sense of aimlessness. Reflection allows you to step outside the daily grind and look at your path from a distance. It gives you the clarity to see whether you're moving toward your goals or simply drifting. When you use silence to reflect on your goals, you create space for self-awareness. In the quiet, your mind isn't cluttered with external demands or distractions. It's not racing from one task to the next. It's settled, open, and ready to examine the bigger picture. In those moments, you can ask yourself honest questions. What progress have I made? What obstacles have I encountered? Am I staying true to my vision, or am I getting lost in the noise of everyday life? Reflection requires more than just thinking about your goals in a passive way. It requires active engagement with your mind and emotions. It involves asking difficult questions, confronting uncomfortable truths, and being willing to change course when necessary. Silence gives you the space to do this without the interference of outside voices. It helps you tune out the distractions of the world and tune into what truly matters. One of the most powerful ways silence helps with goal reflection is by giving you the chance to track your progress. Tracking your progress isn't just about checking off boxes or measuring outcomes. It's about looking at the journey as a whole. It's about assessing the small steps, the challenges, the moments of growth, and even the setbacks. In silence, you can reflect on what's working and what's not. You can evaluate your actions, your habits, and your mindset to see if they align with the person you want to become. Are you taking consistent action? Are you staying disciplined? Or have you fallen into complacency? These are the types of questions that silence allows you to explore. Sometimes it's easy to forget how far you've come. When you're caught up in the day-to-day tasks, it's hard to see the progress you've made. But when you take a step back and give yourself time to reflect, you can see how much you've grown. This reflection doesn't just boost your confidence, it also keeps you motivated. It reminds you of the progress you've made and the obstacles you've overcome. It provides the reassurance that even though the road ahead may be long, you are moving in the right direction. The power of silence isn't just in the reflection itself, it's in the clarity it brings. When you sit in silence and reflect on your goals, you gain perspective. You can see your goals from a different angle. You can reassess them based on where you are right now, not where you were when you first set them. This clarity helps you avoid frustration and discouragement. You realize that growth isn't always linear. Some days will be better than others. There will be setbacks, challenges, and detours. But in silence, you can come to terms with these realities and adjust your expectations accordingly. Tracking your progress also involves recognizing patterns. In the quiet, you can identify the things that have been holding you back. Maybe you've been procrastinating on certain tasks, or maybe you've been giving in to distractions. You can see these patterns more clearly when you have the space to reflect. And in seeing them, you can begin to change them. Silence helps you become aware of the areas where you're sabotaging your own progress. It gives you the insight to break those patterns and take more intentional action moving forward. One of the most valuable aspects of using silence to track your progress is the opportunity it provides for deep self-assessment. We often focus on external measurements of success, the number of tasks we complete, the milestones we hit, the approval of others. But in silence, we can assess our internal progress. How do we feel about the work we're doing? Do we feel fulfilled? Are we growing emotionally, mentally, and spiritually along the way? This internal assessment is just as important as any external success because it keeps you grounded in the process rather than just the outcome. In the quiet, you can also celebrate your progress. We often overlook the small victories because we're so focused on what's next. But in silence, you can acknowledge the effort you've put in and the milestones you've reached. Celebrating your progress isn't about being complacent or resting on your laurels. It's about recognizing your hard work and giving yourself credit where it's due. This recognition fuels your motivation and reinforces the value of the journey. Another aspect of using silence to track progress is the ability to course correct when necessary. Goals can change over time. What you wanted a year ago might not align with where you are today. In silence, you have the opportunity to reassess your goals and make adjustments as needed. This doesn't mean giving up or abandoning your vision. It means being flexible and open to the fact that life is dynamic. You don't have to stick rigidly to a goal if it no longer aligns with your values, needs, or circumstances. Silence allows you to adapt, reframe, and move forward in a way that serves you better. Consistency is key when it comes to using silence for reflection and tracking progress. The more often you take time to reflect, the clearer the picture becomes. Consistent reflection helps you stay on track and make necessary adjustments in real time. It prevents you from getting too far off course. It's easy to get lost in the busyness of life, but regular quiet moments of reflection keep you grounded and focused. They remind you of your why. They reignite your passion. They help you measure your progress and make sure that the effort you're putting in is moving you closer to your desired outcome. It's also important to recognize that silence isn't always about having all the answers. Sometimes, in the quiet, you may realize that you're still uncertain or unsure about the next step. That's okay. Silence gives you the space to process that uncertainty without pressure. It allows you to sit with discomfort and trust that the answers will come in time. The important thing is that you're giving yourself the chance to reflect, to listen to your inner voice, and to gain clarity. The process itself is just as valuable as the answers you find. As you incorporate more silence into your routine, you'll begin to notice a shift in your mindset. You'll become more intentional about how you spend your time and energy. You'll stop wasting time on things that don't align with your goals. You'll stop pursuing distractions that pull you off track. In silence, you discover your priorities. You discover what matters. And with that awareness, you can make more focused, deliberate choices in your daily life. Incorporating silence into your daily routine doesn't require hours of introspection. Even a few minutes each day can make a big difference. Whether it's first thing in the morning, during a walk, or before bed, setting aside time to reflect on your goals can help you stay on course. It doesn't have to be long or complicated. It just needs to be intentional. A quiet space where you can connect with your inner thoughts, track your progress, and recalibrate when necessary. The more you embrace silence in this way, the more it will serve you. It will become a tool for clarity, growth, and focused action. You'll find yourself moving through life with a stronger sense of purpose, a clearer direction, and a more resilient mindset. And when you look back on your journey, you'll see that it was the quiet moments of reflection that helped you stay on track, that helped you grow, and that helped you reach your goals. Ultimately, using silence to reflect on your goals and track progress isn't just about achieving success. It's about building a life of intention, focus, and alignment. It's about staying connected to your true desires and using every step, no matter how small, as a way to move toward your fullest potential. Chapter 7. Develop a daily routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the noise. Distractions, interruptions, and the constant influx of information bombard us from every angle. Amidst all of this, creating a daily routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings can be one of the most transformative things you do for your life. Peace isn't just about finding quiet moments. It's about cultivating an environment and mindset that allow you to focus deeply, think clearly, and take meaningful action toward your goals. When you intentionally build a daily routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings, you create a foundation for success that will sustain you in both the calm and the storm. The foundation of a peaceful routine starts with creating the right environment. If your physical space is cluttered, disorganized, or filled with distractions, it becomes nearly impossible to concentrate on the tasks at hand. A peaceful space doesn't need to be large or extravagant, but it does need to be intentionally arranged to support the focus and clarity you need to thrive. Whether it's your office, bedroom, or a designated corner of your home, your space should inspire calm, not chaos. The simple act of tidying up your environment and removing unnecessary clutter is a powerful first step in creating peace. This doesn't just apply to your immediate surroundings. It also includes the digital space you occupy. Your phone, computer, and social media can be huge sources of distraction, pulling you away from the deeper work you need to focus on. A peaceful routine requires that you create boundaries in your digital life, just as much as you do in your physical space. Start by turning off notifications, establishing limits on screen time, and curating your online environment. The fewer distractions you have, the easier it is to remain present and productive. Once your environment is in place, the next step is to establish a daily routine that allows you to maximize your time in these peaceful surroundings. A routine is the backbone of success, as it eliminates decision fatigue and ensures that you stay on track. But for it to truly work in a peaceful setting, it needs to be structured around activities that promote clarity, focus, and intentional progress. The key here is balance. A routine that is too rigid can feel stifling, while a completely unstructured day can quickly dissolve into chaos. Your daily routine should be designed to give you freedom within a framework, freedom to choose, freedom to create, and freedom to grow. One of the most important aspects of a peaceful routine is the time you allocate to focus on yourself. If you want to thrive, you need to start by prioritizing your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Start your day with moments that nurture your mind and body, whether that's through meditation, light exercise, reading, or journaling. These activities set the tone for the rest of your day and establish a foundation of peace. When you invest in yourself first, you ensure that you are in the best possible state to tackle whatever tasks come your way. Equally important is the time you dedicate to the work or projects that matter most. These are the things that align with your long-term goals and your vision for the future. But it's not just about putting in the hours, it's about being fully present and engaged in your work. In a peaceful routine, you can take uninterrupted, focused time to dive deep into these projects. Whether it's creative work, problem solving, or planning, you can give your full attention to the task at hand without the usual distractions pulling you in a million directions. This focus is where true progress happens. It's where the magic of deep work takes place, and it's where you can make the greatest strides toward your goals. Another crucial element in creating a routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings is the ability to take breaks and reset your energy. While focused work is important, it's equally essential to give yourself time to rest and recharge. A peaceful routine isn't about pushing yourself to the limit every single day. It's about knowing when to step back and take care of yourself. Incorporate moments throughout the day for relaxation and reflection, whether it's a short walk, a few minutes of deep breathing, or simply sitting in silence. These breaks allow you to recharge and come back to your work with renewed clarity and energy. Over time, they help you avoid burnout and keep your focus sharp. One aspect that often gets overlooked in creating a peaceful routine is the importance of saying no. In a world that constantly demands your attention, saying yes to everything can quickly derail your focus and energy. A routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings requires that you be intentional about what you take on. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what truly matters and letting go of everything else. This may mean declining invitations, saying no to non-essential tasks, or simply setting boundaries with others to protect your time and energy. Learning to say no is a skill that will serve you well in maintaining a peaceful routine and staying aligned with your goals. As you build your daily routine, be sure to incorporate time for growth and learning. Peaceful surroundings provide the ideal environment for self-reflection and intellectual development. Whether it's reading, listening to podcasts, or taking courses, continue to expand your mind and challenge yourself. Personal growth is an ongoing process, and your routine should reflect that commitment to continuous improvement.
Set aside time each day for learning, whether it's just 15 minutes or an hour. Over time, these small investments in your personal growth compound, leading to significant shifts in your mindset and skill set. In addition to self-care and professional growth, a routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings also needs to include time for connection. While silence and solitude are essential for focus, so too is meaningful interaction with others. Whether it's family, friends, or colleagues, cultivating positive relationships supports your overall well-being and keeps you grounded. Make time each day to connect with people who uplift and inspire you. These relationships will provide emotional support and give you the encouragement you need to stay focused on your path. Creating a peaceful routine also requires an awareness of your energy levels. Everyone has different times of day when they feel most alert, focused, and productive. Some people are morning people, while others are night owls. One of the keys to developing a routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings is aligning your most important tasks with your peak energy periods. If you know you're most productive in the morning, that's the time to tackle your hardest work. If you're more alert in the afternoon, schedule deep work for that time. Understanding your natural rhythm allows you to be more efficient and ensures that you're working when you're most capable of giving your best effort. As you cultivate a routine, you also need to embrace the power of consistency. The more consistently you stick to your routine, the more you'll find that it becomes second nature. The routine should feel like a rhythm rather than a rigid set of tasks. When you make it a habit, it no longer feels like something you have to force. Your peaceful surroundings will support this routine, and over time you'll notice that your productivity increases, your mindset strengthens, and your sense of peace deepens. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means making small, consistent choices every day that align with your values and goals. Finally, as you develop your routine, take time to evaluate its effectiveness. Is it serving you? Are you feeling more focused, more centered, and more productive? Regularly assess how your routine is working and make adjustments as needed. Just because something works today doesn't mean it will work forever. Stay flexible and open to change as you grow. The ability to tweak and refine your routine ensures that it continues to support your growth and success. Creating a daily routine that thrives in peaceful surroundings is a practice, not a one-time task. It's a continual process of aligning your environment, habits, and mindset with the life you want to live. Peace is not something you find, it's something you create. By intentionally designing a routine that supports peace, you set the stage for clarity, focus, and long-term success.
Chapter 8. Cultivate inner stillness to handle pressure and adversity better. In life, pressure and adversity are inevitable. We all face moments when things don't go as planned, when setbacks seem insurmountable, and when the weight of the world feels like it's pressing down on us. During these times, the ability to remain calm, composed, and focused becomes a crucial skill. While it might seem natural to react to stress and difficulty with anxiety, frustration, or even fear, the true power lies in cultivating inner stillness. This is not about suppressing emotions or pretending that challenges don't affect you. Instead, it's about creating a deep inner peace that allows you to approach adversity with a clear mind, steady hands, and a determined heart. Cultivating inner stillness is one of the most transformative things you can do to handle pressure better, regain control over your emotions, and navigate life's difficulties with resilience and grace. The concept of inner stillness can be intimidating because it sounds like something you either have or don't have. But in reality, inner stillness is a practice, a skill that can be cultivated over time with consistent effort. It's like a muscle. At first it may feel weak or difficult to access, but with persistence it strengthens, allowing you to handle any situation with greater ease. To begin cultivating inner stillness, it's essential to understand that it starts with awareness. The first step is to become aware of how you typically respond to pressure and adversity. Do you feel your heart race when things go wrong? Does your mind become flooded with negative thoughts? Do you find yourself reacting impulsively, letting your emotions control your actions? Awareness of your patterns is crucial because it allows you to recognize when you're starting to spiral into stress or panic. Once you can identify these moments, you can make a conscious decision to shift your response and choose stillness instead. This brings us to the next step, taking a pause. In moments of pressure, the natural instinct is often to react quickly. We want to solve the problem, fix the situation, or find a way out as fast as possible. But this urgency only fuels the chaos, making it harder to think clearly and take effective action. Instead, the key to cultivating inner stillness is to learn the art of pausing. When you feel the pressure mounting or the adversity closing in, take a moment to stop and breathe. This pause doesn't have to be long. A few seconds can make a world of difference. It's enough time to ground yourself, regain a sense of control, and create the space to think before reacting. During this pause, focus on your breath. The breath is a powerful tool for cultivating inner stillness. It's always with you, accessible at any moment, and can instantly help bring you back to the present. Deep, slow breathing activates the body's relaxation response, helping to calm the nervous system and reduce the intensity of stress. By practicing mindful breathing in moments of pressure, you can reconnect with your inner calm, allowing you to handle the situation with a clearer mind and a more centered approach. Another key aspect of cultivating inner stillness is letting go of the need to control everything. Pressure and adversity often arise when we feel like things are slipping out of our control. We become anxious, trying to hold on to every detail, every outcome, and every possible scenario. However, the truth is that we cannot control everything. There will always be unknowns, uncertainties, and forces outside of our control. Embracing this reality and accepting it is an important part of developing inner stillness. When you stop fighting against things you cannot change, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and open up space for clarity and calm. This acceptance doesn't mean you become passive or resign yourself to failure. Instead, it means acknowledging the things you can control, your actions, your thoughts, and your responses, and letting go of the rest. Focus your energy on what you can influence and let go of the outcomes that are beyond your control. This shift in mindset can dramatically reduce the mental noise and emotional turbulence that often accompanies challenging situations. Mindfulness is another powerful tool for cultivating inner stillness. When we're under pressure, it's easy to become consumed by negative thoughts or emotions. We might worry about what will happen next, dwell on past mistakes, or anticipate the worst-case scenario. These thoughts not only drain our energy, but also prevent us from being fully present in the moment. Mindfulness, on the other hand, trains us to focus on the here and now, without judgment or distraction. By practicing mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. This allows you to respond to adversity with a sense of calm and clarity, rather than reacting impulsively out of fear or anxiety. One effective way to practice mindfulness is through meditation. Meditation doesn't require hours of practice or complex techniques. It can be as simple as taking a few minutes each day to sit quietly, focus on your breath, and bring your attention to the present moment. Even just a few minutes of meditation can help you cultivate inner stillness, allowing you to approach challenges with a clearer mind and a more grounded presence. Over time, the more you meditate, the easier it becomes to access this state of stillness in your everyday life, especially during moments of pressure. Another powerful technique for developing inner stillness is gratitude. When faced with adversity, it's easy to become fixated on what's going wrong, what's out of our control, and what we fear might happen. Gratitude shifts our focus away from the negative and reminds us of what's going right in our lives. Taking a moment each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for can bring a sense of peace and perspective, especially when facing challenges. Gratitude helps to reframe our experiences, allowing us to approach difficulties with a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. By practicing gratitude regularly, you strengthen your ability to remain calm and composed in the face of adversity. One of the most profound ways to cultivate inner stillness is through self-compassion. Often, when we're under pressure, we are our own harshest critics. We beat ourselves up for mistakes, berate ourselves for not being perfect, and worry that we're not measuring up. This negative self-talk only adds to the pressure and makes it harder to find stillness. Instead, practice being kind to yourself. Understand that mistakes are a natural part of growth and that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy of peace. By treating yourself with compassion, you release the self-imposed stress and allow yourself the space to simply be. This self-compassion fosters an inner peace that allows you to handle life's challenges with grace and resilience. Finally, it's essential to remember that cultivating inner stillness is a lifelong practice. Like any skill, it requires consistent effort and patience. You won't be able to master stillness overnight, but with time and dedication, you'll find that it becomes easier to access. The more you practice, the more you'll notice the impact it has on your ability to handle pressure and adversity. You'll begin to respond to life's challenges with a calm, focused mindset, instead of reacting impulsively or letting stress take over. Over time, this inner stillness will become a powerful tool for navigating the inevitable ups and downs of life, empowering you to move through adversity with resilience, clarity, and strength. In conclusion, cultivating inner stillness is not about avoiding or suppressing the difficulties of life. It's about learning to stay grounded, calm, and clear in the face of them. By embracing mindfulness, acceptance, gratitude, and self-compassion, you can develop the inner peace necessary to handle pressure and adversity with grace. When you cultivate inner stillness, you strengthen your resilience and create a deep well of strength that you can draw from when times get tough. With practice, you will find that no matter what life throws your way, you can face it with a steady heart and a clear mind. Chapter 9. Disconnect from noise to reconnect with your true purpose. In today's world, noise surrounds us at every turn. From the constant hum of social media updates to the endless flow of news, advertisements, and even the voices of well-meaning friends and family, it can feel almost impossible to find a quiet space where we can hear our own thoughts. This noise is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and even spiritual. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us what we should want, who we should be, and what success looks like. In this cacophony, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters and forget the most important thing of all, our true purpose. The first step in reconnecting with your true purpose is to recognize the noise for what it is: distraction. Distractions are everywhere, and they have a way of pulling us away from our center. They fill our time with things that don't contribute to our growth or to our mission in life. This constant external noise drowns out the quiet whispers of our inner voice, the voice that knows what we truly want and what we're meant to do. If we're not careful, we can get caught up in the hustle of trying to meet everyone else's expectations and lose touch with our own. To reconnect with your true purpose, you must intentionally create space for silence. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the absence of distraction. It's the moment when you can fully focus on yourself, your thoughts, and your intentions without being pulled in 1,000 different directions. This silence isn't something that will just magically happen. It requires effort and commitment. It means disconnecting from the noise, even if just for a little while each day, and intentionally carving out time to listen to your own heart and mind. One of the most powerful ways to disconnect from the noise is through periods of solitude. In solitude, you are free from the opinions, judgments, and expectations of others. It's just you and your thoughts, your desires, and your reflections. When you spend time alone, away from distractions, you create the space needed to hear the quiet voice of your true purpose. The more you practice this, the more you will begin to recognize that your purpose is not something you need to search for outside yourself. It's already within you, waiting to be discovered. But solitude doesn't just mean being physically alone, it means being mentally and emotionally present as well. How often do you find yourself physically alone, but mentally distracted? Perhaps you're scrolling through your phone, checking emails, or thinking about the next task on your to-do list. True solitude requires that you quiet your mind as well. It means letting go of all the external distractions and tuning in to the most important voice, the one that comes from within. This is where you find clarity. This is where you reconnect with your purpose. Another key to disconnecting from noise is learning to set boundaries. In a world that demands your attention at every moment, it's crucial to protect your time and energy. Setting boundaries means learning to say no to things that don't align with your values or your mission. It means recognizing that not every opportunity is the right opportunity, and not every conversation is worth your time. By saying no to distractions, you create space for the things that truly matter: your purpose, your growth, and your inner peace. Setting boundaries also means disconnecting from technology. In today's digital age, it's easy to become addicted to our devices. We check our phones the moment we wake up, we scroll through social media in the middle of the day, and we often bring our devices to bed with us at night. This constant connection to technology can create a sense of urgency and anxiety. It can make us feel like we're always on, constantly available, constantly responding. But this constant noise takes a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. It pulls us away from ourselves and from our purpose. To truly disconnect from the noise, you must be intentional about how you use technology. Start by setting boundaries around when and how often you check your devices. Consider turning off notifications or setting specific times during the day when you'll check email or social media. Create tech-free zones in your home, such as during meals or before bed, to allow for quiet reflection. These small changes can make a big difference in how connected you feel to yourself and your purpose. Beyond setting boundaries with technology, it's important to simplify your life. We often get caught up in the pursuit of more,
more possessions, more achievements, more recognition. But this pursuit of more often leads to overwhelm and distraction. The more we accumulate, the more we have to manage, and the more our energy gets spread thin. Simplifying your life means letting go of things that no longer serve you, whether that's material possessions, relationships, or commitments. When you declutter your life, you create the mental and emotional space necessary to reconnect with what truly matters. As you begin to simplify, take time to reflect on what's most important to you. What are the things that align with your values and your true purpose? What are the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of meaning? Focus your time and energy on these things, and let go of the distractions that keep you from your deeper calling. The less you allow yourself to be pulled in different directions, the more you will find that your purpose becomes clearer and more accessible. Reconnecting with your true purpose also requires that you listen to your intuition. The noise of the world can drown out our inner knowing, but when you quiet the distractions, you can hear the subtle guidance of your intuition. Intuition is the voice of your soul, the deeper wisdom that knows what's right for you, even when logic and reason might lead you in a different direction. By disconnecting from the noise and practicing mindfulness, you can strengthen your connection to your intuition and allow it to guide you toward your true purpose. In addition to creating space for silence, reconnecting with your purpose requires action. It's not enough to simply sit in silence and wait for your purpose to reveal itself. You must also take steps toward it. This means setting intentional goals that align with your values and purpose. It means creating a plan and taking consistent action toward the things that matter most to you. Even small daily steps can make a big difference in how connected you feel to your purpose. The more action you take, the more you will feel that you're living in alignment with your true self. Finally, be patient with yourself. Reconnecting with your true purpose is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong journey. There will be times when you feel disconnected or uncertain, but trust that the process of disconnecting from the noise and reconnecting with your purpose is always ongoing. Life will always present challenges and distractions, but by continuing to prioritize silence, solitude, and self-reflection, you will find that your purpose becomes clearer and more powerful over time. In conclusion, disconnecting from the noise is essential for reconnecting with your true purpose. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But by intentionally creating space for silence, setting boundaries, simplifying your life, and listening to your intuition, you can reconnect with your purpose and live a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. The noise will always be there, but you have the power to choose whether you listen to it or to your inner voice. Make the choice to disconnect, and you will find the clarity and direction you need to live in alignment with your true purpose.
Chapter 10. Make silence your tool for sustained growth and success. Silence is often misunderstood as simply the absence of noise, but true silence is far more profound. It is the fertile ground in which growth, clarity, and success take root. In a world that constantly pulls our attention in different directions, learning to make silence your tool for sustained growth and success is not just an option, it's a necessity. When you embrace silence, you create the conditions for your mind and spirit to focus on what truly matters, enabling you to move forward with purpose, clarity, and resilience. The first step in making silence your tool for growth is understanding that it is not passive. Silence does not mean idleness, nor does it suggest inaction. Rather, it is a deliberate and active process of creating space to reflect, recharge, and recalibrate your thoughts and actions. In the quiet moments, you can hear your inner wisdom, recognize your true desires, and align your actions with your deeper values. It's in these moments that the seeds of growth are planted, and it's through silence that those seeds are nurtured and allowed to flourish. To make silence a tool for growth, it's essential to first build the habit of intentional quiet. This requires the discipline to step away from the noise of daily life, even if only for short periods. It's easy to get caught up in the demands of work, social obligations, and the ever-present distraction of technology. But if you want sustained success, you must carve out time for silence. This doesn't necessarily mean complete isolation or being away from others entirely. It's more about creating space where you can be free from the distractions that pull you in different directions. One of the best ways to integrate silence into your life is through daily practices that promote focus and mindfulness. This could be through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in a quiet room without any distractions. The key is consistency. You won't reap the full benefits of silence if it's only an occasional or sporadic practice. By intentionally creating these quiet moments each day, you build the mental discipline needed to stay focused on your goals and to tap into the deeper part of yourself that knows what is truly important. Silence also allows you to develop a deeper understanding of yourself. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to get caught up in external expectations, what others think, what you should be doing, and the pressures of success as defined by others. But in the silence, you can reconnect with your true self, free from external influence. When you are alone with your thoughts, you are able to discern what truly matters to you. This deeper understanding of your values and desires allows you to make decisions that align with your authentic self, ensuring that you are pursuing goals that are meaningful to you rather than being swayed by the expectations of others. In addition to personal clarity, silence also provides the mental space needed to plan and strategize for the future. In the midst of the noise, it's difficult to see the bigger picture or to make long-term plans with focus. Your mind is constantly bouncing from one thought to the next, and without quiet moments, you can easily lose sight of your goals. But when you intentionally step into silence, you give yourself the opportunity to think deeply about where you're going, how you're going to get there, and what steps you need to take. In these moments, you can create a clear vision for your future, develop a roadmap to reach your goals, and make decisions that are in alignment with that vision. Silence is also a tool for emotional regulation. Life is filled with challenges, and it's easy to become overwhelmed by the emotions that arise in response to stress, setbacks, and difficulties. However, when you make silence a part of your daily routine, you create a space where you can process these emotions in a healthy way. You don't have to act on every impulse or reaction. Instead, you can take a step back, breathe, and allow yourself the time and space to reflect on what's really going on inside. This practice of emotional regulation is crucial for sustained growth because it allows you to respond to challenges with calm and clarity rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. One of the greatest benefits of silence is that it allows you to build resilience. Life will always throw challenges your way, and it's easy to become discouraged when things don't go as planned. However, when you learn to embrace silence, you give yourself the opportunity to reframe difficult situations and see them from a different perspective. In the quiet moments, you can ask yourself powerful questions like, what can I learn from this experience? Or how can I grow stronger from this challenge? This shift in mindset is essential for building resilience, as it allows you to see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth. Over time, this ability to stay calm and focused in the face of adversity will become a defining trait of your success. As you continue to incorporate silence into your daily routine, it's important to remember that it's not just about taking time away from the noise, it's also about how you use that silence. Silence is a tool, and like any tool, it must be used with purpose. Simply sitting in silence without intention may offer temporary relief, but to truly harness the power of silence for growth, you must approach it with a mindset of reflection and intention. Ask yourself meaningful questions during your quiet moments, such as what steps can I take today to get closer to my goals, or how can I improve my approach to challenges? By using silence as a space for reflection, you will gain insights that propel you forward on your journey to success. The practice of silence also teaches patience. In our fast-paced world, we often feel the pressure to act quickly and make rapid decisions. But silence reminds us that not everything requires an immediate response. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is simply wait, reflect, and allow things to unfold naturally. Patience is a key component of sustained success, as it enables you to make thoughtful decisions, avoid rash actions, and stay focused on the bigger picture. In silence, you cultivate the ability to wait for the right moment, to trust the process, and to let go of the need for instant gratification. Another way silence helps in achieving sustained success is by enabling you to deepen your focus. In a world of constant distractions, it's easy to lose concentration and become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of tasks and responsibilities. But when you make silence a regular part of your routine, you create an environment that fosters deep concentration. Whether you're working on a project, learning a new skill, or simply reflecting on your progress, silence helps you stay fully immersed in the task at hand. This heightened focus is essential for achieving your long-term goals, as it allows you to give your best effort and make meaningful progress in a world full of distractions. Ultimately, the power of silence lies in its ability to help you become more intentional in all aspects of your life. When you make silence your tool for growth, you are actively choosing to prioritize what matters most: your inner clarity, emotional regulation, resilience, and focus. Silence becomes the foundation upon which you build your success. It is not a passive state, it is an active, purposeful practice that allows you to recharge, recalibrate, and take deliberate action toward your goals. By embracing silence as a tool for sustained growth, you unlock the potential for greater clarity, peace, and success in every area of your life.